Come on in and grab a seat because we are about to get real today. You always hear about all the amazing weight loss benefits of being on a GLP-1, but what about those undesirable side effects that you might experience, like fatigue and constipation, or that bizarre skin sensitivity where you feel like you've got a sunburn? Today, I am laying out all of the side effects that I've experienced on this GLP-1 journey. So if you are interested in a GLP-1 or already on a GLP-1, but just curious about some of the other side effects that you could be experiencing, then this conversation is for you. We're going to dive into the good stuff first because we need those wins. And then we're going to talk about some of the more common side effects, like, of course, the nausea or how I beat constipation. And then we're going to talk about some of the weird, more rare side effects that you rarely hear about, like sulfur burps and phantom smells. So let's get right into it. First of all, before we even get into anything, let me just put this disclaimer out there. I am not a doctor. I am simply a person on a GLP-1 who is sharing my experience so that I can help others maybe know what to expect on this journey. If you are interested in a GLP-1, or if you're on one and you're experiencing any of these side effects, you're curious about the side effects and how you can prevent them or help manage them, I highly, highly, highly suggest you talk to your healthcare practitioner, and with them, you can decide on the best course of treatment for yourself. Just take this as knowledge so you can be prepared for that conversation with your provider. Now, back to our program. So the wins. These are the side effects that we want. My biggest win on this journey has been the appetite suppression. I mean, that's the whole point of a GLP-1, right? To help control that appetite. A GLP-1 works on the brain and on your stomach. So it makes you feel full faster, it makes you feel full longer, and helps keep you satisfied. So you're not constantly snacking or eating between meals, eating more portions than you really need. In turn, you're losing weight. Great benefit, right? Now, while appetite suppression is the goal, sometimes it can be too strong. So if you find yourself in a position where you're not able to eat enough calories to keep up those energy levels, please consult with your healthcare provider because your health comes first. Along with the appetite suppression comes a reduction in food noise. And that has been another major win for me. A lot of people don't even realize that they have food noise until it's gone. But picture this, you're sitting at your desk at work and your coworker across the way ordered a pizza for lunch. And he says, "Hey, there's pizza in there if you want some." And you're like, I'm not hungry, thank you. But then you're sitting at your desk and you smell the pizza and you start thinking, am I really hungry? Maybe I do want pizza, but I did bring a salad for lunch today. I should probably eat that, but that pizza sounds really good. I haven't had pizza in a while. Maybe I should have pizza. I wonder what kind of pizza it is. What's on the pizza? Let me just go look at the pizza. Maybe I can get pizza and I can take the salad home for dinner, or I'll just leave the salad for tomorrow and I'll eat the pizza today. And so you spend the next hour thinking about the pizza. That is food noise. And when it's gone, you'll be amazed at how much food noise you actually had that you didn't even realize was there. So with the loss of that food noise, it frees up massive cognitive space for you to focus on other things like your work or hobbies, or even just being present in everyday life. And that is the real source of this mental clarity. Now let's move on to some of the more common, not so pleasant side effects that you might experience. But I do have some notes here. So if you see me looking down, I'm just refreshing myself on my notes to make sure I go over everything. One of the most common side effects that you will probably hear about on a GLP-1 journey is nausea. And there could be several reasons for this, but we're going to talk about the two most likely culprits. The first one is going to be the delayed gastric emptying. So when you're eating, the food is sitting in your stomach for longer periods of time, so there's more acid buildup and it's starting to ferment, and that could just cause an upset stomach. Another reason is because the appetite suppression, you could be going longer between meals, so you could have an empty stomach and then the acid is building up, and that could also cause nausea. So, what are some of the things that I've done to help combat nausea? First is going to be saltine crackers. They are bland and they help absorb some of that acid, so that can help control some of the nausea. Another thing is ginger chews. This is the brand of ginger chews that I chose. These are actually mango flavored ginger chews, and they're quite delicious. One thing I will caution about the ginger chews, because they are so delicious, at least in my experience, is once I ate one, I wanted another and then another. And that ended up leading to a weight stall. They don't have a lot of sugar in them. It looks like just 4 grams of carbs and 3 grams of sugar. But when you're eating 10 of them, then it does add up. So be careful with the ginger chews. If that was one of your vices pre-GLP-1, it can be dangerous. So just take caution with the ginger chews. The next common side effect that you might experience is going to be headaches. And one of the reasons you might experience this is dehydration. Because a GLP-1 suppresses your appetite, sometimes you may not be drinking enough either. So it is so important to make sure you are staying hydrated. Now, I am not a huge fan of water, even though I know I need it. So what I do to stay hydrated is I will add maybe a Pure Kick to my water, and they have multiple flavors. These are the ones that I have right now: the citrus, the grape. This one is my absolute favorite, and then the watermelon strawberry. Or if I really feel like I need some hydration, my electrolytes are a little low, then I will add my element packet to it. And my absolute favorite of this is the mango chili. I will have both of these linked down in the description box if you're interested in picking those up. So this may help prevent a headache, but let's say you've already got the headache and you're trying to feel better. One of the things that you can do is either hot or cold compresses. So I'll take a wash rag, wet it with some warm water, put it over my forehead or put it around the back of my neck, depending on where my headache is. And that will often help relieve some of the tension because it helps open up those blood vessels and lets the blood flow through easier. Or you can use cold compresses. Those will also help depending on what type of headache you have and where your headache is. And if all else fails, my tried and true is going to be the BC powder. I use the arthritis strength typically because my headaches, usually when I feel like I need a BC powder, it's because they're that strong. Now, they also have the regular strength, which I do have these on hand, but if you can see, this box is almost empty. This one is still pretty full. So obviously I use this one way more. If you don't like the BC powder, you can always take whatever type of pain medicine you are able to take. Consult with your doctor if you're not sure what's best for your particular situation, but that is what works for me. Constipation. We hear a lot about constipation on this journey. One of the reasons that you would be constipated on this journey is because a GLP-1 slows down the gastric emptying. So that gives your body more time to pull the water out of your stool as it's going through your bowels. I know nobody wants to talk about poop, but everybody does it. So we're going to talk about poop. The way that you can get more water back into your bowels is by staying hydrated. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Again, if you don't like the taste of plain water, add something to it. That's perfectly fine. Also, I try to get at least 20 grams of fiber a day because that will help keep things moving more smoothly. I try to get that from food, but I also, in addition, take 2 of these each day. 2 of these will give me 5 grams of fiber, so that just helps supplement just a little bit. There's also other things that you can incorporate into your diet like Fiber One or any fiber-rich foods. Of course, my go-to that I have incorporated into my weekly routine is the Mago 7. I have these on a subscription through Amazon. I usually get the 90 count. I just happened to pick this one up because it was on sale, but I get the 90 count delivered, I think, every 3 months, and I will take 3 capsules twice a week or as needed. Usually it turns out to be about twice a week, usually on Wednesday and Saturday, something like that. And that has helped tremendously. So again, speak with your doctor if you're experiencing constipation and need to know what's going to work best for you. Now, the last really common side effect that a lot of people experience on this journey is going to be fatigue. Probably the most common reason is going to be the lack of nutrition. Your body is working really hard to lose this weight and burn all these calories, but your appetite is suppressed, so you're not eating as much as your body is used to. So even though we're trying to be in a calorie deficit, we need to make sure that we are eating a sustainable amount of calories. If you're only eating 1,000 calories a day, that is not sustainable, and you are going to be fatigued. Make sure you speak with your doctor or your dietitian to figure out what the best calorie level is for your particular situation. And you don't necessarily have to track. Some people do, some people don't. It's whatever works best for you, but at least have an idea of how many calories that you are eating so that you can maintain a healthy balance. What I've done that has helped me out with this is eating well-balanced meals, because in the beginning of my journey, I was only eating about 900 to 1,000 calories a day, and I was always tired. So now I've incorporated meal prepping into my weekly routine, and that has really helped because, hey, we are not crash dieting here. We are trying to set long-term goals and change lifestyle habits so that we can maintain this weight loss throughout the rest of our lives. And eating 900 calories or 1,000 calories a day just is not going to sustain us for a lifetime. Again, make sure you're staying hydrated and get exercise. You know the saying that things in motion tend to stay in motion, things at rest tend to stay at rest. The more exercise you're getting, the more you will feel energized to do even more. But the more that you sit on the couch and lay around and do nothing, which is the lifestyle I used to have, the more I wanted to sit around and do nothing. Being active will help boost those energy levels. So make sure you're nourishing your body and get out and be active. And another thing, go outside, get fresh air, get some vitamin D. All of those things can help boost your energy levels. With that, we are going to move right on into some of the really weird side effects that you might experience on this journey, or at least that I've experienced on this journey. And now some of these are not so common, so not everybody will experience these. You may not experience these, but these are some of the things that I have dealt with and what I've done to combat them. The dreaded sulfur burp. Again, this is going to be due to the delayed gastric emptying that is caused by a GLP-1. It slows down your system, so all of that food is sitting in there, it's fermenting, it's getting nasty and funky, and you burp, and all of a sudden your burp tastes like a rotten egg. Well, what can you do about it? So the first thing that I have found that helps is antacids, and I don't even have any right now because I haven't experienced sulfur burps in quite a while. That was more so in the beginning of my journey. Other things that you can do to help prevent them is to eat smaller meals, because that way it will help it get through your system faster, and not eating so close to bedtime. So that gives your system a chance to eliminate that food before you're going to bed. It's not sitting in your stomach overnight. You can also try to avoid eating higher sulfur foods like eggs, onions, and broccoli, and carbonated beverages like soda, which that's one of my nemesis, and sparkling waters, anything that's got those bubbles in it that can cause the gas to be in your stomach. So we want to try to eliminate those things. Now, if all else fails and you've got sulfur burps, you can also try Pepto-Bismol or Gas X, something to help eliminate that gas. Now, one that I've experienced even before being on a GLP-1, and I'm still currently experiencing it, is going to be hair loss. Contrary to common belief, GLP-1s do not directly cause hair loss. Normally, the hair loss is going to be caused by the stress that is put on your body when you're going through rapid weight loss, and also the lack of nutrition because your appetite is suppressed again. We're not eating as much, so our hair is not getting the nutrients it needs. And with the sudden drop in calories and the stress of the weight loss, it can cause shock to your hair follicles. So what can we do about it? Well, first, we should focus on prevention, which is making sure you're eating plenty of protein. Center your meals around protein. Make sure you are starting with your protein rather than some people like to eat a little bite of this, a little bite of that, a little bite of that, and then they go around their plate. Eat your protein first so that if you get full halfway through eating, at least you've got your protein in. So that is key to getting your protein. Try to incorporate at least 30 grams of protein into each meal. So that way, by the end of the day, you're getting at least 90 grams of protein if you've eaten 3 meals that day. Now, obviously, we can't always completely prevent it. So one of the other things that I have incorporated to help maybe hold it off a little bit and help give my hair a little boost is I use the hair, skin, and nail vitamins. Now, this may be controversial, but this is what I choose to do. This one does have biotin in it, which I have found to be a major help. And then the other thing that I do is I use the Rogaine, and this is the men's strength, which is okay for women to use. However, I have heard this is toxic to pets, so do not let this get anywhere around your pets. Make sure that your hair is completely dry before you start hugging and loving on your pets. Don't let them get around your towels or pillows that you use with this. And what I do, rather than using the dropper that comes with this and putting it directly on my scalp with that, I pour this solution into a spray bottle, and then I will part my hair and just spray it along my parts. And just do that a couple of times a day, in the morning and at night. And that, I have noticed, has helped tremendously with helping to regrow some of my hair. Another thing that you can do if your hair loss is severe or you feel like you need more than just this, talk to your doctor. Again, always consult with your healthcare provider, but there are oral Rogaine pills that you can take as well. I have not tried those, but I've heard that those are even better than the topical Rogaine. Next topic on my list is going to be dry eyes. Now, this one people don't really talk about a whole lot. So when I started experiencing it, I didn't even realize it was related to a GLP-1. But once again, being on a GLP-1, it suppresses your appetite, so you may not be drinking enough water. So once again, first important key is to hydrate. When you are dehydrated, not only are the insides of your body dehydrated, but it starts to come out in the outside. You'll start to notice your lips are dry, your eyes are dry, your skin is dry, everything is dry. So stay hydrated. Now, I just happened to be going to my eye doctor about 6 months into my journey when I noticed that my eyes were really dry, and they were dry to the point where they were burning. So when I went to my eye doctor, I mentioned it to them, and I did tell them I was on a GLP-1. They specifically recommended this brand of eye drops. Now, the Refresh Optive Mega 3 drops, these have been a game changer for me. These are safe for contact lenses because I do wear contacts, and these have glycerin and flaxseed oil. So it kind of puts a protective coating over your eyes. When I do start to feel that burning, I'll just put a couple of drops in my eyes and it usually clears that up. Once again, if you are experiencing dry eyes and you've tried these things and they don't seem to be helping, go ahead and talk to your eye doctor, because there could be more underlying issues, or they may want to try to put you on some type of prescription eye drop. Moving right along, phantom smells. This is another one that you don't hear about a lot, but it does happen. I have talked to several people who have said that they have phantom smells since being on a GLP-1. A phantom smell is a complex neurological symptom where you're smelling things that are not there. And usually these are unpleasant odors. For me, it's been cigarette smoke. I will swear that somebody is smoking, but nobody else is even home. And it is irritating because I cannot stand the smell of cigarette smoke. So what is causing this? Well, since GLP-1s interact with the nervous system, it's believed that they can potentially interfere with your sense of smell. But again, this is pretty rare. So what can you do about it if you're experiencing a phantom smell? Well, to be honest, I really have not done anything to combat this because it is so rare and it usually does not last for very long. But if you're experiencing it and it is bothersome to you, you can talk to your doctor. They may recommend something like a saline rinse, or if it's continuing to persist, then they may want to pursue some other neurological treatments. Just always be sure to speak with your provider if you're experiencing any of these symptoms that are overwhelming to you. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about is one that I mentioned recently in one of my videos, and that's allodynia. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it up in the cards for you. But allodynia is a very rare neurological symptom where even light touch can cause pain. It's thought to be an interaction between the GLP-1 and your nervous system's pain receptors. So what can you do about this? What I found that helped me, because this particular chair that I'm sitting in, even though the fabric is pretty soft, when I would wear shorts, the fabric would irritate the back of my leg. And it was mainly the back of my right thigh. And funny enough, it was mainly when I would inject in my thighs that I would have this reaction. I've had the allodynia 3 times throughout this journey, and each time it was when I injected in my thigh. And if I remember correctly, it was always the right thigh. It may have been the left thigh one of those times, but I haven't experienced it really with injecting in my belly or when I inject in my arms, but it could just be coincidence. Now, typically when I get it, it is the back of my leg that I feel it on, but I have also experienced it under my right arm at one time as well. So what I've found that helps is using cold compresses and wearing something like what I have on right now that just lays against my skin. It's not too tight, but it's not so loose that when I'm moving around, it rubs against my skin. It just kind of lays there, and it's fairly soft. So it's not a scratchy material against my skin. When I was wearing shorts and I noticed it, I went and put on some leggings, and that definitely helped. Another thing that I do is I keep this lidocaine. It is a roll-on, and you just roll it on wherever you're feeling the pain, and that helps. They also have patches depending on where the pain is. These patches can help tremendously. And then also there's a spray. This is burn relief, and really it feels like a sunburn when you have allodynia. So why not use the sunburn relief spray? This is, again, just some lidocaine in a spray form that you can spray on the affected area, and that typically will help, in addition to wearing the soft, loose-fitting clothing or the cold compresses. Well, that's going to wrap up my full experience navigating these side effects. Dealing with symptoms, whether it's a mild headache or something more unusual like allodynia, is a core part of this process. But being prepared and knowing what tricks may work can make all the difference in the world. So now I want to hear from you. What side effects have you experienced on your GLP-1 journey? Have you experienced any of the ones that I've mentioned, or have you experienced something that I didn't mention here? And what have you done to manage or minimize those side effects? Let me know down in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, remember, none of us are perfect, but you can always be perfectly you.